Danny Sullivan's Indy Heat was an arcade game created and developed by the Leland Corporation in 1991 and later ported to many home consoles and computers such as the Atari ST, Commodore 64 and Amiga, as well as the Nintendo Entertainment System. If you've never heard of Leland Corporation, they were best known for manufacturing the game Dragon's Lair 2 for its arcade release. Rare helped with the NES conversion, and it was published by Trade West and features an extra track named after the publisher. It is one of the only games to support the NES's 4-player capabilities by using the NES 4-score peripheral. It is a favourite of popular YouTuber and collector Pat the NES Punk. Some say the NES version has clunky menus.
Today. There we go.
Who's Danny Sullivan?
Who's Danny Sullivan? Are you insane?
The concept of the game is simple and addictive. You start off with $100,000 and you spend it on various upgrades for your vehicle. These can help you win the race. In strategy is deciding what to spend your money on. The higher you place in the races, the more money you will get in return, and thus the cycle continues. You can do turbo boosts to give yourself some speed at the cost of fuel. You can refill your fuel in the pit stops or go around the pit stops to not fill up at all. You will need to watch your fuel and time your refills if you want to win the races though, as running out will leave you behind. Danny Sullivan is always the yellow car in the game, and it is always the hardest to beat. The first few races will be easy for most gamers, but then Danny Sullivan quickly ramps up the heat and catches up and gets harder to beat. This means you have to choose your upgrades wisely if you want to become the top racer. The graphics in this game are pretty good for NES standards. Everything is clear, you can pretty much tell where everything is. It certainly isn't the best looking game on the NES however. It sure isn't the worst either. The controls in this game are really tight and very responsive once you get used to the overhead perspective. The point distribution is 20, 16, 14, 12 and 10, keeping scores tight throughout the Grand Prix. The race courses feature around different parts of America, such as Michigan, Illinois, New Jersey, South California, Colorado and many more. The game keeps track of everyone's lap count, which is helpful as you will be lapping people or getting lapped yourself. One thing I found funny was on the podium, you looked like a red Power Ranger. The game Simpsons Hit and Run had an extra minigame that is very similar to Danny Sullivan's Indy Heat. Although as expected from a minigame, it's not as polished. There is no lap count or turbo boost or even a pit stop, as this was merely an extra game added onto the already amazing hit and run game. It's still fun to race your friends on, it's not a bad little nod to arcade racers such as Danny Sullivan. The NES version did have a European release, however it was not released in the UK, instead it was released in France, Italy and Spain. Which is a shame because I would love to play this with my friends on my NES without paying crazy prices to import it. There are no re-releases of this game, and it would be cheaper for me to buy an American NES and an American copy of the game and ship it to the UK than to buy the European version. While the NES and computer versions made it to store shelves, the Mega Drive or Genesis version, despite reportedly being complete, did not make it. A prototype has since been unearthed and dumped, and 50 physical cartridges were produced during a short production run in summer 2011 by collector Dream TR. It was quickly uploaded to the internet after that. They were sold for $50 to $55 online through Atari Age forums. An article appeared on RetroCollect shortly after this production run, detailing what happened with these reproduction cartridges. The Mega Drive version looks very polished from the footage found online, but the difficulty is even harder than the NES version, and many considered that version to be pretty difficult. In the 80s it was commonplace for a game to have a famous name attached to it, to increase sales and to establish familiarity. The racing genre was no exception. Danny Sullivan's Indy Heat wasn't the only licensed driving game on the NES. There was also Alan Sert's Turbo Racing, Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge, Michael Andretti's World GP, Nigel Mansell's World Championships, Alex DeMeo's Race America, and finally Ivan Iron Man Stewart's Super Off-Road. What are your experiences with Danny Sullivan's Indy Heat? Did you play it at the arcade, or did you own it at home on a console or computer? Or just heard about it through Pat the NES Punk? As always, thanks for watching and sorry for the wait. If you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and watch some other videos that you may have missed.